Don't you think the Chinese, given their history over the past 150 years, understand the importance of really being powerful? You know what happened to the Chinese when they were weak? It was really quite terrible. They refer to it as the century of national humiliation. They had the Japanese, the Europeans, and the Americans with their open door policy, exploiting them left and right, occupying them, killing large numbers of people. You go to Beijing, you ask any person this simple question. You have two choices. You can be 10 times more powerful than Japan, or Japan can be 10 times more powerful than you. Do you think it matters? What do you think the Chinese are going to say? The Chinese are going to tell you it is very important to be very powerful. We understand what happened in the past when we were weak. So they will go to great lengths to maximize their relative power. They want to make sure the power gap between them and Russia, them and Japan, them and India is as wide as possible. Just like we're very content with the fact that Canada and Mexico and Guatemala are small fish compared to us. It's not because we're evil, because it's the best way to survive in the international system. So number one, you can expect the Chinese to want to maximize their relative power, to grow and build a powerful military. Second, you don't think the Chinese are going to have a Monroe Doctrine? You think it's okay for us to be terribly upset when the Soviets send troops or missiles to Cuba, but they shouldn't get upset when we run aircraft carriers or aircraft up and down their coast because we're a benign hegemon or some nonsense like that. My mother taught me when I was a little boy, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. The same basic logic that applies to us should apply to them. Why shouldn't they want a Monroe Doctrine? If I were the national security advisor in Beijing and they asked me whether or not we should work hard to have our own Monroe Doctrine and push the Americans out beyond what they call the first island chain or beyond what they call the second island chain, I'd do everything I could to push the Americans out. I'd want to dominate Asia the way the United States dominates the Western Hemisphere. Is that because the Chinese are evil? Is it because they have a different culture than we do? Absolutely not. My argument here, as you've all surely figured out, is a structural argument. The structure of the international system leaves you little choice when you're powerful but to try and dominate your region of the world.